Welcome, wrestling friends, to another edition of Smarknado. I am your host, Eric Druckman. With me, as always, the Danaconda, Dirty Dan Cesnit. Dan, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing fantastic, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a great time of the year. We are certainly in the season of giving. And here at Smarknado, we have quite the gift for everyone today, as we are joined by one of the best technical wrestlers on the American independent scene. He is the reigning Wrestlers Laboratory champion. Please welcome Eel O'Neal to the show. How are you doing today, Eel?
I'm good, Ohio. How's everybody doing? Love coming on shows. Love Wrestlers Lab. Love being able to get people excited for like another breakout event. And this is looking to be one of the best ones that we've had in the history of the company. So
Absolutely.
We're stoked to be a part of it for sure, and super glad to have you on here.
thank you for having me.
Yeah,
And the card just keeps stacking up. Of
stacked.
course, the match that is going to end the show is going to be you, Eel, defending the Wrestlers Lab Championship against Trevor Eon. Um, this is going to be a killer match. I've seen Trevor Eon wrestle before, and you've been killing it all year. We're going to get more to that later in the show and give you some time to sell everybody on this big main event that we have at Joe Lunga 2. So, Eel, first and foremost, what are your earliest memories of wrestling, and when was the moment you knew you wanted to be a professional wrestler?
So I was a wrestling kid. My dad was a big WWF guy. So like Raw in like Attitude Era. Funniest thing though, I do not have like I have fond memories of like Attitude Era stuff, but now as like a wrestler and a person who's competing and active. I don't look on the Attitude Era too fondly. The angles I think really hot and how hot the crowds were for the wrestlers, but like going back and watching old Raws and things like that, I'm always like, well, that sure is something. Uh,
It's crazy you say that, man, because it's one of those things where we have selective memory when it comes to the Attitude Era. The
yes,
top, it was top heavy.
yes,
The stars were
yep.
great, but that bottom of the barrel stuff was
Crazy,
really bad, man.
They
Like
crazy.
were
really
up
bad.
against
If
the
you're
wall.
if you're gonna watch if you're gonna watch something for the lower and mid card, I mean WCW was the way to go. Obviously, if you're looking for work rate, WCW was probably the way to go. But also, wrestling at the end of the day, everybody's always telling me, do I believe it? But wrestling's about making money, and who was making the most money at the time? Those guys. Uh,
Absolutely.
so my dad and I would watch wrestling together. Obviously, Attitude Era wrestling was super inappropriate, so my mom would get angry, but still, they let me watch it. I think about till what usually the first hour of Raw, because
Like
back then I think the second half was a little bit more dirty stuff heavy.
Sure
the War
was.
Zone.
Yeah. uh, um, uh, but I got back into wrestling. I have I was telling you guys before we just not to remove the curtain too much, but before we start the show, usually we can have usually for these things we can have a bit of a conversation. That I'm a theater and TV film person first. I started doing all of those things when I was really really little, about 4 and 5, and then as I got older, I got into sports, and then I got completely out of wrestling probably in my teens, and then and I tell this story. I've told the story a couple of times, but it's always a fond memory because rest in peace. I was in Second City in Chicago. It's a comedy school, acting school. They have a conservatory program. A lot of if you guys don't know, if you're those watching, folks who are big fans of Saturday Night Live, a lot of their
Yep.
alumnus have come from a lot of comedy alumni in general have come from Second City.
Yep.
Um, I was there studying, and me and my roommates would just put on random TV. And I was lucky enough to put on Raw one day, and we were all just joking about the things that everybody that around this age talks about, which is like, oh my gosh, like the Attitude Era, remember wrestling, remember wrestling. And then I picked the day when Bray Wyatt was doing the Miss Teacher Lady promo, and that promo was the first time when I thought like, oh my god, I could do wrestling, like I could do wrestling. Like I could, like I'm athletic enough. I'm enough of a performer, and I have enough motivation to actually do that. And then while continuing to perform, moving back here to take care of like family, back to Baltimore to take care of family and stuff like that. I found a wrestling school. The people who started me in the business were the Grammy Scotts, Hamish Stewart, and Grizzly Duncan McBain. So Hamish helped break me in, trained in Hagerstown for a little while, and then got under the learning tree of a couple of really great people. You might know him, Jonathan Gresham. Studied with him for a couple of months.
Might have heard of that guy.
Yeah, Alexander James studied under him for a couple of months. WXW
So underrated.
Alum, and now I think I'm allowed to say that now PC WWE
Coach.
PC employee. And trainer. So like that was my whole that's a little bit of my wrestling journey at the beginning.
So in that Bray promo, that teacher lady promo, is that sort of where you were like, okay, wrestling is just theater? Like that's sort of what you said to yourself, like this is just theater at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like when you sell, and like the clearly boxing, UFC have came to it late. But like when you're selling matches, like the proposal is everything. The showing people the juice is worth the squeeze, and being able to talk and perform for people and get them invested in like in the sport, in the art form. And I was like, those are things that people can do. Those are things that I have the tools to do. I just need to learn how to do the wrestling part. And like it's just oh God, how do I put this? I've always felt like as soon as I got into this, I knew what I was doing. I never at any point, I know there are some people who like in their the barriers that we talk about, these barriers to entry into the industry. And sometimes there's like a physicality barrier. And then sometimes there's an, like a performance barrier. And like, I've never had either of those. I kind of came into the business knowing that both of those were equally important and kind of helped make the picture a whole. Drop downs, leapfrogs, hip tosses never eluded me. Locks never eluded me. Like promos never eluded me. The only thing that I've ever had trouble with is like I'm I'm a little bit gruff. I'm a bit of an introvert. So when it comes to like the business aspect and the shaking hands, I usually keep to myself, and I think that's why people have why audiences usually take me as a bit of a heel. Like I think I'm a little rough around the edges when it comes to smiling and profiling for the crowds.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this: like you have a firm grasp on both sides of the business, right?
Yeah.
So, and I love that. So, what's a better feeling to you? A pop from the crowd after an excellent promo, or a zinger line, or that move that makes the crowd go, "Oh shit!" Like that was dope.
It's got to be talking. It's definitely got to be like people being invested, shouting, being angry, booing. I mean, booing me out of the building is it's a point of pride for me at this point.
Yeah.
If somebody genuinely hates me, if somebody genuinely hates when I win, I don't necessarily care if when I throw whatever flippity doodah slam that I come up with this week. I don't really care if that makes them amazed, because honestly. Those moves, great. Maybe they create like a barrier of enjoyment. Maybe they create like a level of enjoyment in the moment. But for long-term investments and people wanting to see me win or lose, which is obviously the case, those talking moments, those they hate me moments, those mugs to the crowd, those I'm winning and I know it moments are the things that are how I make my money.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, Eel, what was your initial vision of who you wanted to be as a wrestler, and how does that compare to who you have become today?
I'll be 100% honest. The person who I wanted to be was like I wanted to be a skinny rock. I've always been good. Like again, I've always been good on the microphone, and like when I was early in, like I didn't really have the concepts of like, oh shoot, the performance of this the action inside of the ring, the grounding, the putting people in deep water, the danger, the technicality. Like I didn't have a knowledge of that, and I didn't
Mhm.
have like that's I don't ever hold that against people for not engaging with wrestling in that way. I engage in wrestling in that way. I watch wrestling in that way. And once I learned it, once I was like, man, technical wrestling is the craziest thing. Like it's the best thing in the world. That became like the food on which I sustain. But the uh the original vision was just electric. If you guys back when I was starting, the electric Eel O'Neal was like I just wanted to be too cold. It was too cold Scorpio, and like the idea of he has that when he was Flash Funk in
Mhm.
WWF. He had that full jumpsuit that had the lightning bolt on it,
Mhm.
and I used to have a pair of tights that just had a lightning bolt on the front,
Yeah.
like a green, like bright green lightning bolt on the front, and like I loved those things, and that was it. That was the vision. Was like just
Mhm.
be exciting, be athletic, be and then I trained with some folks who just like were like, hey, well, I got tired of getting thrown around, obviously, because while I am tall, I've always been thin, so I got tired of that, and then I also got tired of I got tired of jumping, I got tired of drop kicks, I got tired of the like arm drags and the TRSs, and I just wanted to do something that was more physical and more like, hey, I'm physically here. I'm grasping you. I'm in control of this match. That became like a better tactic for me.
Mhm.
And so like technical wrestling became the way to go. So it morphed from wanting to do this kind of like, oh, this kind of live wire, high energy, everybody get up, and it turned into more like I want to be perceived as like a very like almost like a super villain. Like I don't want to be like not crazy, but like if I was like to look, um, I want to be charismatic, and I want to be an antagonist. And even when like it's with a crowd that enjoys me, that likes me, I still want to be. I'm still a bit antagonistic. Like I want to win. It's kind of like a Muhammad Ali in that like I don't think Muhammad Ali really particularly cared if people liked him. He was always going to be engaging, but that didn't necessarily always mean he was going to be nice, even if the crowds did like him.
No, he was being real. He was going to
Yeah,
be himself, and that's really all you can ever ask from anybody, right? Like love them or hate them, you want to make sure that they're just going to be who they are.
yeah.
Um, and that's the interesting part about wrestling is like you could flip that switch playing that character,
Oh
right?
man, the authenticity and being able to show kind of the authenticity and being able to show that like, hey, this is who I am, and you believe who this is who I am, not like, oh, this is something that I'm putting on. This is the facade. It's like,
Mhm.
oh no, this is an aspect of reality. You always hear the WWE folks talk about turning the dial up to 11. Hey, it's me, but I turned the dial up to 11, and I think that's a piece of it. But like from an acting perspective, one of the things that I always learn is that like relatability is not so much becoming a character or amplifying an aspect of yourself. It's just relating to the aspects of the character. So like this guy can be the worst person in the world and be like, oh man, I'm gonna kill Thanos. I'm gonna kill half of the population. But like Thanos' real motivation is that, like, hey, he genuinely believes that what he's doing is an altruistic venture and that there are too many people. So
Mhm.
I don't, I'm not a genocidal maniac, but like,
Should
and I'm sure Josh Brolin isn't either. He seems like a very nice man and a great actor, but his entryway to that is just like, you guys are all trying to stop me, and I'm not going to be stopped because I'm doing the complete right thing. And even if what you're saying is crazy, if you engage with, I'm doing the right thing for the benefit of everybody, and follow that through line, it's hyper believable. Um, that's that's a little bit of my mindset.
I love that, and the character work has always been really important to me. Eric has always been more of the wrestling guy in between us, but
Mhm.
I've been deep in movies and film and comic books and all that stuff from when I was really little. Like, I liked wrestling, but it was always kind of secondary to me. I was
Sure.
a big Star Wars fan, and Lord of the Rings and these epic things and big characters and superheroes and all that kind of stuff. Even before it was cool. I'm in my 40s now, and Marvel, the MCU wasn't a thing. So,
Yeah.
but I was still like looking at these big characters, and it's just been exciting to relate that to wrestling and see how you relate that to wrestling the same way that that I do. So it's excellent to hear that from an actor's perspective.
Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Please.
So, Eel, talking about, developing this character, owning in on it, as
Mhm.
well as changing your style in the ring, like, um, what is some of your tape study, whether it be promos or in the ring, that has kind of made you refined as this character you are today?
Yeah. So I listen to. I just watch. I watch a lot of just like theater. I watch a lot of like the National Theater from like London, um, the Globe, stuff like that. Broadway, like Broadway plays, stuff like that. Have people talking live. You know what I mean? And they know what they're going to say, and it's written and like it's been written and refined. So that doesn't 100% like encapsulate everything, but also I'm an improviser too, and that's in my wheelhouse. So like understanding the way that crowds listen and the way that they like want to interrupt and you don't let them, or they try to participate and you want them to, is really important. It's just at the end of the day, it's about being like locked in. Like I have a very particular way of speaking when I am doing a promo versus when I'm having a conversation with a person, and that's because my cadence is important to the way that I'm heard. When you're having a conversation with people, people will wait for pauses, they'll wait for buts, they'll wait for that like um the what I call the what cadence, which is like the something 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 pause. What? Something 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 pause. What? Something 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 pause. What? Right? Where you're trying to get that stuff to come out through like where you're trying to think of the next thing, and for me what works is string together the ideas and make sure that you do not stop until you can tell that they're engaged.
Mhm.
When we let ourselves be lax and like, oh, this is a promo, and like, oh man, on Sunday night, December 25th, on in Greensboro, when we go to Revengeance or whatever the name of the pay-per-view is, I'm gonna show everybody what kind of man you really are. And to get away from that, because we do have a very stereotypical professional wrestling speech cadence, and
Yes.
like the fans know it, especially the people who are really engaged with the sport, with the art form. They know that cadence, so that lacks authenticity, right? But
Mhm.
when you take that completely away, they start to be like, oh, this is different, okay.
It's
And like it
Yes.
sometimes it turns into silence. Sometimes it's silence from them. They're quiet, they're not engaging, which is fine, because if you do it long enough, guess what, they start making noise again. They start reacting to what you're saying as opposed to the what's and the, oh, this is
it's
the end line where we cheer.
So can I just say that it's another thing about what you're saying is so intriguing to me is, I'll be honest, I'm one of those. I do phone sales for a living.
Sure, yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, we're taught, and I don't cold call. So sorry, everybody out there. I
Mhm.
warm call. But regardless, we're taught to control the conversation, right? So when you're control and that's part of the salesmanship of being a wrestler, right?
Yeah,
Is and again, this is just coming from my own personal experience, but I would say that if you're controlling the conversation with your cadence, then you are controlling that crowd. They're eating out of the palm of your hand. So
yeah.
it's intriguing to like it is a form of salesmanship almost.
It
In addition to everything else.
I'll put it this way: it's not early. It's not like 2005 anymore. And it's not Philadelphia 2005 where there are a group of people who are coming specifically to try to no sell everybody who's on the show except for two big names.
Yeah,
Like everybody wants to be engaged. Everybody
yeah,
wants to be entertained when they come to these shows. The issue is that half the time when we engage them as wrestlers, we're not engaging them as like performers, as entertainers, as people who are drawing them in to want to watch this watch this match. We're okay, so the run sheet says I'm supposed to talk here. And then my match is after that. So I'll say this, and then if I win the match, I'll say this because that will engage. And it's like, no, man, stop. Like it's not math, it's music. So like you have to play it, right? It's not you don't 2 + 2 + 2 equals 6. Like you got half notes, you got quarter notes, and every once in a while, like you do have to pause. Like that half beat turns in turns into to a whole rest. Like sometimes, like when you're feeling the music, like it sometimes it's jazz. um so like uh this is all to say, because this is the stuff that I always tell my students too. This is all to say, at the end of the day, really, it's about listening to the crowd as well as speaking to them, right? And like people who are good at that, because that's what you asked me. Sorry, I go on these tangents. I
no, I
apologize.
love it.
I
This
got
is
back
this
to,
is this is intriguing to me. I love this because we talk a lot about the technical aspects and in the in ring stuff, and
yeah.
this is far more fascinating to me in so many ways. So
I
please
gotta.
continue.
Yeah, yeah. It's So put it this way: like people who are great at controlling crowds and not being controlled by crowds and not letting crowds set the cadence. Triple H is one of the people who's really really good with it. I know that everybody does the like like the breathing bit, but one of the things that he's really good at is making sure that they don't wet him. Bray Wyatt, obviously, like 100% my favorite. Literally the king of my heart when it comes to like performers who are wrestlers who control crowds with promos and with speeches. I like Whole World in His Hands. Brett, that first run is like something that I hold super super dear in my heart, and like
Mm.
solidified for me that a lot of wrestling can be done that way. There are also people who are like crazy good with just wit and wordplay. People who like on like independently, um, as far as promotional material. Frontman Ja C is so good
Yeah.
at stringing together turns of phrases and things like that, and speaking and making it so that like I mean like he feels like a black exploitation character come to life. That's one of the things that I like about him. Another person who's really good at talking, but maybe speaking more softly and letting people understand what he's saying or getting them engaged. Darius Lockhart.
There's
Darius is so good at speaking and being understood, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I'm speaking and I'm just getting this stuff out so we can get to the match, or I'm just getting this stuff out so we can go to the next segment. Um,
Yeah, I'll tell
yeah,
you what. It's one of my big regrets. I missed the Ase show.
yeah.
If I'm mispronouncing that, I live here in Charlotte. It was 5 minutes from me, and I wasn't able to go. Truth be told, it was really one of the more unfortunate. So I'm going to try and make it next time.
Jordan went down. My tag team partner Jordan Blade went down just to see, hey, scope out, say hi, shake hands. And she said that the vibe, the entertainment of the night, the atmosphere felt very different than what a lot of professional wrestling feels like right now.
It
And I
looked
think that that's
incredible.
real. I think that's really necessary. We have these promotions that are like parties, like the GCWs, or like
Mhm.
the like revolvers, or like the West Coasts, that like, oh hey, like it's we're gonna get big dream matches, these big superstars. We're gonna have like a party, we're gonna expect the unexpected, it's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be this and that. And then Ashe feels like it feels like it's really really something feels like it's something curated. Curated is the word,
Yeah.
like it's almost like a
Exactly.
playlist,
Yeah.
which I think is just from Lockhart's mind, because I mean he is a genius. Like no shade to him.
Agreed.
Like
Facts.
he does he
Facts.
thinks about things in a different way. Very like a
I don't,
fascinating individual.
and I'll say this: I don't think NWA understood his vision.
I
You
mean,
know,
We see why. We see why. But
yeah, because he would have taken off over there.
Companies and folks not understanding what a person is worth happens all the time.
Mhm.
It's frustrating, because it's like, you see people get placed in positions where it's like, okay, so like they want you to succeed, but they don't want you to succeed too much, or they see you're really really cooking with gas, and maybe they want to turn the gas down because they see that, because it's a little bit faster than what their original game plan was. People who another person who like I am absolutely in love with and have been copying since I started wrestling. Swerve. I think Swerve is just absolutely unreal with how he's managed to garner presence together, his level of intensity, his level of taking offense, performing offense, his combinations, even just being able to put stuff that I like. I think he's just fascinating. He's a completely different wrestler than me, because like I'm now so grapple heavy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Bockwinkel now, but like when I first started out, I was like, oh man, like that's exactly what I want to do. That's exactly how I want to move.
so I'll
And that
tell you
can,
how I feel right now. And sorry to cut you off, Eric. I love a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah,
And all my favorites are here. Swerve's up here right now. Like
yeah, man, he's
up here.
crazy.
Everything he's doing is
God
just hitting
bless
on
him.
every single level. And there isn't anybody that, I mean, outside of what Ali did today and just kicked in the door for his tour that he's doing
Time is
here.
right. Time
You
is
know,
right.
so like Swerve is just, he's the guy they're talking about right now, man.
Yeah,
And it's
time is
you love
right.
to see it. You love to see it.
absolutely, I think he's one of the most captivating wrestlers going right now. I think you
Yeah.
can make a strong argument for that. In the complete package, like you said. So speaking of Jordan Blade,
Yes.
um, this past year you've predominantly been a singles wrestler,
Yeah.
but I feel like people really started to catch on to you during your time with Jordan Blade
Mhm.
as the Kings of the District,
Yeah.
which is still going on, right?
Yeah. We're still a tag. We haven't
Awesome.
we haven't broken up or anything. It's just we both, so like Jordan and I both have a lot of things that we really want to do, and we both have like a very much a journeyman's mindset when it comes to wrestling. So I'm sure you guys saw the announcement. Jordan's headed to the UK early next year. Actually, she has to miss a show that I'm booking because she's going to the UK. So but like her success. But like Jordan should have been, if there's anybody, and I always I say this a lot too, if there's anybody who should have succeeded by now, and it doesn't make really a lot of sense why she hasn't. Like I know the reasons, but like it doesn't actually make sense. Jordan's one of them. If Jordan Blade has only one fan, it's me. If Jordan Blade has zero fans, it's because I'm dead. Uh, it's she's aggressive, she's legitimate, she has a unique look, she does unique things, like different. She wrestles on a genuinely different level. Maybe I think if anybody she could be compared to, and this is the comparison that everybody's going to make when she gets big anyway, to Shayna, Shayna Baszler.
Yep.
Yeah. But like legitimately, she's just so good. And so we were like, hey, because what was happening, and this is not a secret, but I can like say it. What was happening was like, it felt like a lot of people didn't want like me, character heavy guy. So like, hey, let me run an angle, let me go in the creative direction. And Jordan, hey, really action wrestle heavy individual, aggressive, give her the matches that she can showcase just how incredible she was. And it felt like almost people were keeping us stagnant on purpose to try to just, oh, hey, it's going to be those two against, this put together tag team. It's going to be those two against these people. It's going to be those two against those people. It's going to be those two. We can really rely on them. They're really reliable right in this spot. And while being reliable and having like a guaranteed job is a great thing. It's something that you can't ever you don't want to look the gift horse in the mouth. I also just we really want to do the things that we want to do, and we have lists of achievements to do. And right now, I think it's like we got to do those by ourselves. Obviously, with full support. Like me and Jordan are wrestling as a tag next week. It's us versus Fresh Air at a pizza party, and that's gonna be a great match.
That's gonna be dope.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great match.
Yeah, Jordan is one of those ones to me that is so insanely technically proficient and is never mentioned in those breaths with some of the other really super technically proficient independent wrestlers. And I for one am definitely looking forward to that moment when she does blow up. So
the Rise of Jordan Blade is going to be. I mean, the next year. That's what next year is going to be all about. Is going to be everybody being like, "Oh my gosh, where's Jordan been?" It's like right under your nose. You just, she didn't look like the typical person who you like to book in your women's division. So you guys were ignoring her, and like that's how I feel about it. Is every single time I'm like, okay, so like you have a very specific look of type of person who you like to book, and that's fine. That is fine. That's not like a demonization of people, but you also have to be aware of talent. Like we all have biases. All of us with like the way wrestlers look, the way what wrestlers do, what wrestlers like to. I try to challenge my biases all the time. I don't like tag wrestling. I've told Jordan this multiple times. I like tagging with.
Ironic.
I know. I like tagging with Jordan. That's like my favorite thing in the world because I really value her, cherish her. Hate tag wrestling. Hate multi-mins. Not particularly fond of like lucha scrambles, that type of thing. And then I try to challenge those biases all the time with like, okay, so watch this. Don't skip. Don't change the channel. Watch it, please. Like focus in. And I think that sometimes you just got to get into the Booker man's head. Like, dude, you're looking on Twitter for the exact same type of person who looks like the exact same from the exact same school, from the exact, like, vary it up. You're going to succeed more when you're very,
it's almost as if promoters and bookers are just afraid to sort of step away from that thing that has been historically, the mainstay in those industries. But right now, like from top to bottom in the independents, there are so many different shapes, sizes, people, colors, genders, call it what you want to call it, but it's not, everybody's not Hulk Hogan and Sable anymore. It's just not what it is.
We're really we're diverse, and it's really it's a beautiful thing, and it's like embrace it, embrace that difference. One match that I do think of hers that really opened people's eyes was the one against Sandra Moon. I think people weren't expecting how good. Sandra rocks, but how good that match was going to be, and I think that finally that kind of got a couple of people like, oh, like there we go. Yeah,
and that's to say too. I think that once Jordan Blade is wrapped up with this European tour, she's going to have those built-in credentials, and they're going to see like, oh well, she was cooking over there. So
only a matter of time.
Give her a shot.
Only a matter of time. She's gonna crush. I'm so excited for
her. I'm looking forward to it.
Eel, who have been some of your favorite opponents over this past year?
BK, obviously. He's good.
There we go.
He's a Smarknado favorite. Recently, so.
I got to wrestle Bird this year, so that was good. I got to wrestle Erica Lee. She's Erica is a dear friend. It's it's like wrestling stuff and like rivalry stuff and like talking shit online. It's but like Erica is one of my best friends in wrestling. And she's just absolutely like she's so good. She's another person who's unreal good and who should have been signed already. Like it's very silly. She's also very well, Erica, and I always joke with her about this. Erica's very truthful and is very much not play the game type of person, or like, hey, keep it tight-lipped, like somebody said something that rubbed you the wrong way, like just let it, like the water off a duck's back. Like usually if somebody does something that she's like, hey, didn't love that, she'll be like, hey, didn't love that. And I think that level of honesty, little, it's very much like how sometimes I think my introversion doesn't play well to fans. I think that level of truth doesn't play well sometimes to bookers. But she's still working, and she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So uh, I think I wrestled Boar. I think I wrestled Boar this year. That was nice. BK, Boar, Erica. A couple of years ago, I wrestled Cheeseburger, but that's I was real thin then, so I don't count that. Oh, I got to wrestle Jordan. I got to wrestle Jordan at the last Vibe show, and that rocked. That was like a really fun showcase of like us being able to go out there and wrestle, especially because those shows, Billy Dixon's brainchild, are so based in characterizations, and they're a celebration of of queerness and of otherness and of diversity, and like big inclusive space, but also good wrestling as far as like entertainment, but maybe not 100% always known for like, oh man, that was the tightest technical match that I've ever seen. And like Jordan and I went out there, number two, had like a really really tight, solid technical match, like very much like, oh hey, this is about us wrestling. It's not about like we're gonna dance at some point, or we're gonna come out, we're gonna do, like, it's like that's what it was. And like the crowd was there for it, and that felt really 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 good. That's a very very dear memory. I really thank Billy for me being able to do that, because as far as we know right now, that might be the last show, independent wrestling show in DC for a bit. So
Not privy to. Is there a situation going on in DC?
commission stuff,
Okay.
where everybody's there, it's all under investigation, and the government is doing what it's doing, and we'll figure it out we'll know when we know. We'll know what the whole situation is. I'm not a lawyer. I don't work for the government, so I'm not privy to all the information of what's going on. It's just one of those things. Like, hopefully, and what we're waiting for is hopefully the DC Commission will decide that pricing people out of being able to do the stuff that they love isn't the coolest thing in the world, and they'll go, oh hey, actually maybe it shouldn't take $1 million to put on a wrestling show, because that seems a little silly.
Yeah,
Wow.
unless you're, one of maybe 3 companies in the whole world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So what goals do you have for this upcoming year in 2024?
Goals. I would like to travel. Like, I do really really want to go. I want to go back to Canada. I want to go. I would like to go to the UK as well, or at least to like Germany, maybe WXW. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I want to wrestle for a company for one of the 3-letter companies. I'm gonna figure that out. We'll figure out what it'll take to make that happen. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my marketing. But I do think that I'm ready. I think that physically I'm I'm the strongest that I've ever been. Wrestling mind wise, I feel like I'm like the smartest that I've ever been. I'm the most in tune with kind of what people in the audience need. And then just wrestle really really good opponents. I mean, like Trevor, obviously great wrestler. Very excited to wrestle him. Also very excited to wrestle. At some point, I'll wrestle Darian Bankston. I'm supposed to have a match with oh my god, with Trey Lamar. But like my plane got canceled, and I couldn't make it for that show, which sucked. Had some family stuff take a couple of matches from me that like would have really really meant a lot for me. But like, it's okay. It'll come back, and then hopefully I'm hoping to wrestle some of the goons this year. Maybe do like a fun to wrestle once I get to wrestle some of the Goonies. That'll be fun for me too.
That's awesome. I love that you mentioned Bankston too, because he's just such a he's somebody that's under the radar. I feel like that's just been putting on really really great matches, and he's so unique with his move set and stuff. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before like the secret's out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's only a matter of time. I mean, he's one of those. It's kind of the same thing with Trevor too. It's one of those things where it's like, eventually they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's time. I think that just uh wrestling, everybody always says wrestling doesn't owe you anything, but wrestling does play favorites. Part of entertainment in general is nepotism and glad handing, and like there are people who are really really talented who don't come from the backgrounds of nepotism and glad handing, and there are people who are not so talented who do. And it's like sometimes those cards get mixed up in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They get mixed up in the deck, and like eventually it's just like, okay, so just they'll keep drawing the cards, and then hopefully before it's too late, before the game's over, the right card gets drawn. That's how I personally feel about it.
Yeah, it's a tough thing because you don't want to see somebody fail, right?
No,
Ever. But
no,
at
no.
the end of the day, somebody almost has to burn out for somebody else to shine sometimes, and that's
Run
the
out of
unfortunate part.
burn out or stop. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
wrestlers. There's a million wrestlers in the world, and there definitely aren't a million shows in the world. So it's just it's who gets what spot, when they get what spot, when they show up, how they show up, and if you're ready, because I've had at least two auditions, tryouts early in my career for like positions where like I just wasn't ready. I just wasn't physically. I was not ready. Wrestling wise, I was not ready, and like that's okay because it's like, hey, you weren't ready. Oh, they put you on the big stage and the match didn't go well. Yeah, you weren't ready. Okay, so what are you going to do about it now? You're going to come back to the drawing board, figure stuff out, or are you like many people who get stuff really easily, just going to be like, you know what? Actually, forget it. Never mind. I quit. Like that happens too.
Mm,
Right.
excellent.
So outside of professional wrestling,
Yeah.
what are some odd hobbies that you have that occupy your time? I know you said
Oh,
you love
uh,
acting. What
yeah.
else do you
Theater.
enjoy?
I'm writing a play right now. I'm writing a book right now, trying to at
Yes.
least. I'm trying.
Excellent.
Um, uh, TV. I watch a lot of TV and movies, and I know that doesn't necessarily seem like a hobby, but like media consumption is a big deal for me. So like it
Yeah.
does. Like yeah, it is really like, oh man, I love watching movies. I love talking about like the why of films, the background, the like my favorite thing about movies is just like tracking the vision of like, okay, so what is the story? Why is this that? Why are those colors there? Oh, if it's a mystery, love mysteries. Why? Like, when did we get the clue? When did we figure it out? Is it one of those mysteries? Because like the difference for me, between a good mystery and a bad mystery is if you're watching the mystery and while you're watching it, you can figure out what the schmaz is, like what the deal is, or if you're figuring out if you're watching the mystery and it's like, oh, it comes right out of the blue when they figure it out. Um, the only two mysteries that have ever had that exception for me where I've been like, this is a good movie, but that stuff doesn't track, is the God, what is it? Glass Onion, and the one before it, the not
Oh, I
Knives
know.
Out.
Knives Out.
Knives Out.
Knives Out, the Knives Out in the Glass. Both of those have things in there where like it's one of those things that like, oh, the audience can't see it, the characters can, and I hate that about mysteries. Like it's one of
Okay.
my that's one of my peeves, but like those movies make up for it with being like really entertaining, really funny, and like at the end of the day having something really funny to say about like wealth, privilege, like murder, death, inheritance, like all that stuff.
So what's your favorite TV show of all time?
My favorite TV show of all time. Ooh,
I'm
that's
putting you on the spot.
yeah,
I got to do it because you're a TV guy. I got to do it to
yeah,
you because I
yeah.
am
That's
too.
hard. I'm thinking of like shows that I like love right now, and not shows that I'm like oh, what are some of my what are my favorites? Funny enough, I think if I'm talking like TV shows that I love, okay, side note, boom. The television show that I will watch over and over again and like never get tired of because I think it's developed really really well and still remains funny, and I say it all the time Twitter. It's American Dad. American Dad
Okay.
doesn't move because it's it unlike Family Guy. It has a real it started out like kind of like a Family Guy-esque clone, but it's
Yeah.
really developed to be about the family and the things that they want. Like the characters are in there. They are in there.
Okay.
I think maybe like Stewie, Brian, Peter, Lois, Meg, Chris, like their motivations change almost like kind of week to week. And they're just they're doing like bits about like kind of what what a family means or what this type of person means.
Mhm.
The American Dad characters are all very specific characters. And I really appreciate that about that show is that like a lot of the Haley centric episodes are about how much she wants to be a rebel from Stan, but also about how much she desperately needs his approval. Those are
We've all been there.
those are the things that are like the crux of those of all, every single Haley episode. It's like
Cool.
she either is trying to rebel so hard or she like gets his approval for a little bit and she's like, okay, I'm gonna follow that thread. I'm gonna keep pulling on that one because like that's like a drug to me. That's that's heroin to me. Come on, let's go. I think my favorite show is like the first or second season of the Fargo anthologies.
Okay.
Um, I really, really love the Fargo anthologies. I think they're really, really good. One, just hey, really specific character, this situation, and really specific characters, this situation, and great actors go is like a great way to, I think,
Mhm.
put together a show. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't need like they're self-contained seasons. Hey, you watch one, like they're connected to each other in like weird periods of time, but like those characters, the people who are in them, the things, they will not show up again in that series. There may be like a light mention of them, but like don't worry, you do not have to know everything about the series to figure out what this is. And then Ted Lasso. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, I really did love Ted Lasso. I really do love it. But actually, Barry, Barry is that complete, Barry's that complete experience for me.
Okay.
Barry was so good and uh, so specific about that character, about how he worked, about how all of the main characters worked, like inside of their heads and the things that they needed. That yeah, those are them.
Okay. I saw the first season of Fargo.
Yeah.
I have not watched Barry. It's on my list, but I have a toddler, so it's not really. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
to watch. I get to watch Bluey and Toy Story over and
Hey,
over and over again.
Bluey's really good, man.
Yo, Bluey rules, bro.
Yeah.
Bluey rules. Bluey is so fun.
Bluey's the anti Caillou. Everybody loves Blue. Every parent
Oh
loves
yeah,
Bluey. Yeah, everybody loves Bluey. Everybody fucking hates Caillou, man.
Bluey's
what a
the shit, man.
spoiled brat.
Yeah, he's a bad kid.
Terrible.
He's a bad kid. I work with children occasionally, and I shudder to say someone's a bad kid, but Kai is a bad kid.
It's a bad message. He just cries and gets his way.
Yeah, he's a bad kid, man. Stop letting Caillou get stuff.
Yeah, my kid already cries and gets her way, so I'm not gonna let her watch that.
Yeah. Learn that lesson. Bad.
So on February 18th, I think the fans are all going to get their way, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
Mecca,
Good
Richfield
segue.
Park,
Good
New
segue.
Jersey, Wrestlers Lab, Showabunga 2,
Mhm.
Eel O'Neal in the main event, defending the Wrestlers Lab championship against a very hungry Trevor Eon. What should we expect from this match? And do you have a message for Trevor?
Yeah. So just keys to victory in general. Trevor is like a really relentless, fast-paced mover. He does stalk, but when he gets going, it's like his movement, almost jerky. If you're playing music, think like Thriller. It's slow at certain points and then very fast and hard hitting at other points. I love hard hitting opponents because you know what they're going for. They need to strike you to put you down. They need to suplex you to put you down. And me, the only really thing that I need to do is get my hands on you. I am much bigger than Trevor Aon. I'll tell you that I am 6 foot. I am 230 pounds right now. I'm much bigger than him. If I get my hands on him, I'm going to twist him in a knot. Yeah, I'm huge. I'm massive. If I get my hands on him, I'm going to twist him in a knots. And like maybe he won't give up. Maybe he'll pass out from pain. Maybe he'll continue to keep going until his body can't go anymore. Maybe I'll have to like outsmart him to win. But like truthfully, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trevor has been fighting so hard to mean something here at Lab, for his time here to mean something, really, really be meaningful. And this would be the pinnacle of his achievement. This would be the completion of a beautiful story for him. And I'm going to rob him of that. He is not going to have the chance to become Wrestlers Lab champion off of me. He will not take that belt from me. He will not take that championship from me. That title is mine and will remain mine until at least I beat the longest reign. I believe in him so much. I think that he is a threat. I think that he is intimidating. I think that he is an athlete. I think that he is talented. I think that he has all of the pieces to be so successful in this business. But, and I hate saying this, at the end of the day, I am going to rob him of his Cinderella story because I know he is just a human man. I love the devil. I love the imagery of it. I love the imagery of some twisted evil and the etheria of the universe. But at the end of the day, we are two men, and my belief that it only takes a couple of pounds of strength to tear a tendon. It takes a couple of pounds of strength to break a bone. It takes a couple of pounds of pressure to knock somebody clean out. Trumps his belief that somehow metaphysically he is meant for this. That's what it is.
All right.
Man,
I think we have a lot to look forward to, and I think that Trevor says he's gonna break his foot off in a lot of asses, but it sounds to me like you might be immune to that foot breaking.
Foot fetish stuff aside, he can try as hard as he wants to break said foot off wherever he pleases. If he puts a limb near me for too long, it's mine. I've taken ownership of it. Any opponent who's come near me now knows that it doesn't have to be fast, that it doesn't have to be quick, it doesn't have to be flashy. Like, I'll beat you with a roll up. I'll knock you out with with a rear naked choke. I'm not really particularly worried about the showmanship at this point inside of the ring. I have the outside for that. And that need to entertain them and to make that crowd happy. I want to do the exact opposite. I want to take it away from them. And that powers me in a way that their love, just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's not the fuel for the right fire.
All right.
Wow.
Right.
So, man, we got a hell of a main event for this show. And if that didn't bring you to the Mecca on February 18th, I don't know what will. This guy brings everyone to the show with his words. And,
I'm trying. Trying. That's me. I'm going to be the longest. It's my lab. I'll say this because I see we're coming up on the hour mark. For the longest time, I've been telling Wrestlers Lab management that the reason that I won this title is the exact reason why things are wrong with the industry in general. Okay? So, like, when I beat MV Young on the outside of the ring. I tapped him out. That's not legal. But because everybody likes to have so much fun and everybody likes to break rules and everybody likes to spend so much time out there enjoying the crowd and chopping people and hitting them with chairs and throwing them into things, the referee's call was confused because he was more interested in entertainment. He was more embroiled in the entertainment aspect of this than what the rules are. I gouged I gouged Erica Lee's eyes to win, to lock my final hold, to win my to continue my championship reign against her. Because again, referees not paying attention, more interested in what's entertaining for this sport than what the rules are. When I beat Ziggy Hyam, I rolled her up and I put my feet on the ropes. She's what, 115 pounds? Still, referees not paying attention, more focused with what's fun and everybody having a good time and everybody. I've told them over and over again, my lab is about rules. It's about structure. It's about being a lawful beacon in a world gone mad. And until they get the point, right, I'm going to continue to keep showing them what's the problem with their rule breaking. Everybody wants to have fun. Everybody wants to break foots off and asses. Well, when the rules get bent, and when you do that, they all cheer. And then when I do that, everybody gets upset. Learn the lesson. Learn the lesson that the champion of this promotion is trying to teach you. That the loving father, the loving patriarch of this company is trying to teach you. Learn the lesson, and then things maybe then things will change. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen.
We appreciate
Absolutely,
having
Eel.
I
You're setting
man,
a great
strong
example.
words.
Yeah, that's what learn the lesson. Learn the lesson. If someone pushes you down one time when you do something, and then you do it again and they push you down again, and you do it again and then they push you down again, and you haven't learned that when you do that thing, that person pushes you down. What it's madness. Everybody knows the definition of insanity now. It's a cliche. Figure it out. Get wise, get smart.
All I have to say, Eel, is keep them all in line because I can't personally make it up there to the Mecca from Charlotte for the
Absolutely.
show. But
It's all right.
you keep them in line for me.
You'll also be able to stream it. Don't worry. We'll provide all of the links. Do not worry. We'll make sure that
Absolutely.
you see my victory in glowing 4K. I promise you.
All right.
Fantastic.
Excellent,
So,
Eel.
Eel, where can everyone find you online?
Great. It's Eel O'Neal, EELONEAL. So like Shaq, not like Titus. Okay. You'll find me at Eel O'Neal on everything: Facebook, Threads, Twitter, Instagram, all of TikTok. I'm on all of the social medias. I mean, my stuff is copy and paste, but if you have a preferred social media, I'm there. Find me there. EELONEAL. Eel O'Neal.
Excellent.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for your time today, Eel. Look forward to
Absolutely.
seeing that, and open door if you ever want to come back and chat about the dynamics of the head game of wrestling.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Gladly.
Right.
Pleasure to
All
have
right.
you on, Eel.
All right.
And good luck on February 18th.
So
Thank
we'll
you so
see you
much.
there, Eric. We're gonna stick around and chat a little bit of C2.
Yes, we are.
All
Yep.
right. See you later, Eel.
See you, friends.
Take care, Eel.
Oh, well, that was exhilarating.
Yeah,
Fun time
my
having
God.
Eel on the show here.
I feel like we
Uh,
got a really excellent education of professional wrestling, the intricacies of it. And God, I can't help but think that Eel has a lot of things figured out. Just the right company needs to let that man cook.
Yeah, that man he's headed. He's headed there. Jordan Blade, both of them are extremely talented individuals, and we look forward to seeing what they are going to do in the future. But let's talk about the present. That being the Continental Classic, and I know that we are wrapped up on one side of the league, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're wrapped up in the Gold League. As it stands right now, Mark Briscoe got his first points. Jay White, he pulled away the victory over John Moxley, and then Swerve ended up beating Roosh. So
Interesting stuff, man. I don't know that I love that the
three-way
fact
tie.
that they're going to do a triple threat match. How do you feel about that?
I don't love it, but you know, it's the you put three guys in that you know block that are being booked very, very strongly as
I
main
mean,
eventers. So
the match is gonna fuck. Like, we all know that. But
mhm,
like, I'm just, I just wanted a more decisive victory, and I think that they really missed the boat on the lack of time limit draws. And I know that you can only do so much with time limits with the TV and whatnot, but at the same time, like, you got these overruns, try and use them.
mhm.
So
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So as of right now, we haven't had like a tie or anything like that.
right.
Um, so maybe that's the way that they should have gone. But I liked this past week, Jay White getting the clean win over Moxley, just kind of setting the tone that it's extremely, extremely, extremely hard to go undefeated in this block. To be having these matches against this caliber of competitors week after week after week.
Mhm.
Um, I liked the clean victory by
It
Jay
it
White.
it also shows that Jay White is a veteran of these round robin style tournaments and
Mhm.
knows what it takes to sort of get back to the top of those standings. And I'm excited for the match. I still think it's going to be Mox that comes out of that match. What about you?
I think it might end up being Jay White. I
Really?
think that Mox and Swerve have more of a personal issue with each other
Hmm.
out of these three guys. So I think for something's going to happen where they get caught up in their own drama, and then Jay White takes advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's the only real true heel. Like, I know that Swerve's not really, Mox is not really. So I guess that
Mhm.
makes sense for a heel like that to sort of take over the situation. So I guess that
Yeah,
makes a little bit of sense. But
yeah, man. We're gonna go over a little bit of dynamite, but we're just gonna run. We're running a little bit short on time, so let's just talk about a couple other things that happened this past week. Um, More prominently, a 90-day no competes did expire,
yeah,
and who did we hear from first? The guy that we thought we would hear from first, and that's Mustafa Ali.
man,
And
his rollout was one of the most impressive things I've
the
ever.
video is so fucking cool, and if anyone hasn't seen it yet, it's on his all his socials. Basically, like it's like he's running for president, and he's making all these campaign promises that he's going to take down all these false idols, and it shows pictures of champions from all over, whether it be Alex Shelley or Will Ospreay um, or Swerve or
You want to
it
know
was.
one interesting thing that somebody caught on Twitter?
Mhm.
None of his dates are on Wednesday or Saturday.
Okay. All right.
So that's an interesting little hmm. Because man, like, if they brought this character of Ali into AEW,
Hmm.
um, he could make a real dent. He could be their new Chicago savior, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So let's just talk about some of the matches that he has announced, though.
yeah,
Right out of the gate, he announced that he was going to be facing his Chicago brethren, Gringo Loco, at
yep.
GCW No Compadre Friday, January 12th from Chicago. I think that is totally appropriate. Would not be surprised if these two train together on the regular. So I expect nothing more than a certified banger.
I think he has 3 different matches um involving Gringo. Two triple threats and that one
That's right.
one on one,
The triple
or
threat
or
with
four-way.
Gringo, if I can
Four-way.
bring it up.
There's a
Yeah, the
four-way
triple
with,
threat with Gringo is him and Jack Cartwheel
yep, but there's
with
also the
Ali.
four-way with Penta, Vikingo, Gringo, and Mustafa.
Wild.
February 10th at Dreamwave.
Yeah.
So, truth be told, that is probably going to be one of the most bonkers matches that's ever been bonkered, to be completely honest with you.
And speaking of bonkers, we also have Speedball against Mustafa Ali February 25th at Prestige Wrestling.
And that could very well be a preview of the X division in or the top division in TNA as
Mhm.
well.
Yep.
Man, the run this guy's about to go on, like I respect wholeheartedly what Cardona's doing. It's going to be similar to what Cardona's doing.
Mhm.
And I think it should be. I don't think he should necessarily sign with a company. I think he's going to maximize his dollars and his value by sticking around and doing exactly what he's doing.
Yeah,
So
no
I'm
doubt.
excited to see it, man. That dude's a
Didn't mention too, he's going to be facing Leon Slater in his debut for Progress Wrestling
yep.
on January 28th,
He wrestles somebody at
and
Rev Pro too.
he's facing Robbie X.
At Rev Pro, yep.
Yep, and
He's had
man,
these things booked forever, man. It's crazy. And the way I'm just like it's just a crazy impressive rollout, man. Like just he had like I think he has like 1.7 million views since he released the video.
sick.
That's sick, man. And another thing that I saw that somebody had mentioned, which is just incredible too, is like the importance of owning your own name in wrestling is
Mhm.
really prevalent here. And that and so the name recognition is already there.
Yeah,
So it's great. I can't wait to see what he's doing, man. I'm a big Ali fan.
for sure, man. Yeah, so was gonna talk about this too. Did you see NXT this past week, Dan?
I did. Well, I saw some of it, and I know what you want to talk about, and we could touch on it for a few minutes. But go ahead.
It just rubbed me the wrong way a bit.
Same, same.
You know, Ridge Holland has built this reputation as being an unsafe worker to his
Hmm.
detriment.
Yeah,
And they're trying to make that play out in an angle. Him injuring Ilya Dragunov on Tuesday. It was a scary moment. I wasn't sure how real it was or not.
everybody, I mean, everybody thought it was real.
Yeah. And the way that Ilya like sold it, I mean, yeah, it's a testament to how well he can do that, and he can kind of play off that he is seriously injured. So good on him for being able to like act that way. But more over than anything else, like they don't have to be doing this. Like
Injury angles are never good.
yeah, this is
They're never
not
good.
good. This is not good for the rest of Ridge Holland's career. I don't know what they're trying to gain out of it. You know, it's and it's just kind of muddying up the whole main event scene between Mello, Trick, and Ilya, which has already kind of been established. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but it rubbed me the wrong way. So I just wanted to address it.
No, it's a terrible angle. Injury angles should never be played. Concussion angles should never be played. Ridge Holland probably ended Big E's career. Let's not sugarcoat it, right? Like, and I don't think he ever did anything intentionally. Like, let's not
Mhm.
say that. Like, I'm
No,
not saying he meant to do anything, but at the end of the day, you, with your unsafe work, possibly ruined the career of a legend.
yeah,
So to me, like it's not something that you should bring up lightly,
exactly,
especially
and
with Dragonov's like intensity, and you know, it's really easy to believe that that dude could hurt himself. Really
mhm,
easy, the way
very
he
much
goes.
so.
So I don't know, man. I don't like it either.
Yeah. Um, And yeah, Ridge Holland has faced so much backlash for this. Like he's
Yeah,
received death threats and whatnot, and
yeah.
like that guy doesn't need any more vitriol than what he's already gotten. You know, you kind of feel bad for him. Like I don't know,
And
just
like, is he supposed to be a heel or a baby face? Like,
I
is
know that's
Dragonov a
what it
baby?
is.
It's
What
so
is the end game here?
like
I'm
if you
confused.
want a redemption angle because of it, and maybe that's the
Mhm.
way you work it, sure. Like I can buy that, but there's no real like it doesn't seem like anything with any long-term thought process to it.
Mhm.
It seems very, short-sighted.
Absolutely. But Dan, I think that's all we have left for today.
Yes,
We
sir.
just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We hope everybody is enjoying themselves this weekend. Hopefully, you have time off from work. It's really all about family time. We're very happy that you guys choose to spend your time with us every single week. And yeah,
That's a beautiful sentiment from you, Eric. Thank you for saying it. Yeah, we definitely appreciate everybody that watches, listens, does the damn thing. Um, Enjoy your time with your family. I know that, like I said earlier on in the show, I'm on vacation myself, so I'm gonna be spending some time with my family. I'm gonna be doing a lot of work on this here show, so you might see me pop up in your feeds randomly, just saying hi and giving you some thoughts here and there. But all in all, just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that good stuff. Happy New Year, and stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.